Hello everyone, myself Rajesh Raval, student of SOMAIYA Polytechnic, studying a Diploma 3rd year Computer Engineering Department, would like to present a short PPT presentation over our project Mrityunjay with our friends Panav and Mohammed. Mrityunjay. The name Mrityunjay states to defeat death. Every person recognizes an opportunity to help another person by donating his or her organ. There where the organ donation starts. Mrityunjay is a platform where a person can donate human organs. Every hospital has to fill out complete details of donor and recipient, and the criteria for donor registration is he or she should not be suffering from any kind of chronic diseases which may reflect in the recipient's body after transplantation. Every donor or recipient has to provide his or her past medical history. Hospitals can view status of the recipient for checking the assigned donor for the required organ for transplant operation so that they can contact them easily without wasting the precious time. Let's have a look on working principle. There are 4 types of registration: user, organization, hospital, admin. Admin login will be integrated with QR code based login, and other logins are integrated with OTP service for enhancing security. Once registration is done, the data will be stored in database and that can only be viewed by administrator. After registration, the donor and recipient will be validated on the basis of the reports data provided by the corresponding hospitals for obstructing bogus donors and recipients. Then donor will be assigned on the basis of our donor assignment algorithm, which states a certain criteria to be fulfilled, such as blood group, nearest location, validation, needed organ, etc. Mrityunjay also provides an option for living donors where user can register for inclusion of list of donors who will donate their organ when they are dead. Our web application also provides information about various donors such as blood donors, children education fund donors, organ transplant operation fund donors, etc. to the various organizations. The technologies required are HTML5, that is the new standard for HTML, and brings out lot of new features. Next is CSS3, that has many features like gradient, transition, animation, shadows, multi-column, flexible box, grid layout, etc. PHP is a hypertext preprocessor programming language that is used to connect the site to the database for creating dynamic sites. Next is JavaScript, which is used for enhancing the interaction with the user with the website. Next is MySQL, a free open source database engine, technically RDBMS with SQL. Let's have a look on working. So working is very simple. It starts from hospital registration. Then hospital can register the donor and recipient. They both have to fulfill all the criteria required. After registration of donor and recipient, they will be validated by our administrator on the basis of the reports data provided by corresponding hospitals. After validation, a flag will be set. When the flag is set, the donor can go ahead in the process. The donor assigned will be displayed in recipient status and recipient assigned will be seen in donor status. Donor will be assigned on the basis of nearest region, blood group, organ needed, validation, etc. The assignment of donor to recipient will be unbiased and does not involve any kind of corruption. Let's start with donor assignment algorithm. The flowchart shows the complete workflow of algorithm for assignment of donor to recipient. So it starts with analyzing recipient's requirement. Then it will check whether recipient is validated or not. Then it will check whether recipient's blood group matches with the donor's blood group. Afterwards, it will check whether the organ needed by the recipient matches with the organ donated by the donor. Later, it will check whether the region of recipient matches to the region of donor. If all the criteria are fulfilled, then only donor will be assigned to the recipient successfully. So let's have a look on project flowchart. The flowchart shows the complete working of project model by stating its workflow and algorithm. So it starts with hospital registration by visiting the website. After hospital registration, the corresponding donor and recipient hospital will log in and register their corresponding donors and recipients. Donor and recipient has to fulfill the required criteria. For donor, it's that he or she should not be suffering from any chronic diseases which should reflect in recipient's body after transplantation operation has been performed. After registration, the donor and recipient will be validated on the basis of the reports data provided by the corresponding hospitals. After validation, the recipients and donor can proceed further in the process. Afterwards, recipient status will be viewed by recipient hospital, and hospital will contact the donor for the organ required. And this is the end of the phase.
Hello, I'm Panav Patel and I'm going to talk about the application of this website. Mrityunjay will donate and receive organs all over India. We will be used by hospitals for transportation operation of needy patients by registering their organ recipient. Mrityunjay also provide information about various donors such as blood donors, children education fund donors, etc. to the organization. We will give an opportunity to live happily again to those who are suffering from deadly disease. We will also provide an employment to the people by appointing them to operate this web application.
My name is Mohammed Udaipurwala and I am going to explain you the advantages of our project. Mrityunjay will help people in contacting the donor in a short period of time. For security, admin has a QR-based login. The identity of the donor and recipient will be hidden. Unless and until a donor is not verified, he or she cannot proceed further. Interaction of the donor and the receiver will not have any middleman. Web application is just a mediator between donor and the receiver. The assignment of donor to recipient will be unbiased and does not involve any kind of corruption. This web application will help you to save a precious life that may be of great significance to the society, and it will try to give a chance to the patient to defeat the death or disease, as Mrityunjay means to defeat death.
Let's talk about working of our web application. It starts with hospital registration by entering username, hospital ID, email ID, password, username, full address, state, etc. After that, they can log in on the basis of the username and password they have created. Further, it will ask for your email ID for sending OTP for OTP verification. After OTP verification, the web application will redirect you to the hospital portal where you can register donor recipient by entering basic details such as name, Aadhaar card number, profile photo, blood group, age, patient suffering from any chronic disease, then the organ required and organ donated by the donor, etc. In recipient status, you can check the donor assigned to recipient. When the donor is assigned to recipient, it will be visible in the recipient status. After the work has been completed, you can delete the recipient as well as donor. In next phase, donor and recipient will be validated by admin. This is our QR code based admin login, which checks the admin credentials are correct or not, which are hidden in QR code. Then it redirects to admin dashboard where you can see new queries. Next is donor and recipient validation. 1 means validated and 0 means not validated. Validation takes place in donor and recipient validation section where admin can validate them on the basis of the report provided by hospitals. These are the hospital registered on our web application. Next is developers contact, which is created by 3D flip cards using HTML and CSS. Next is organization login. Organization have same login as the user, integrated with OTP services. OTP services are used for enhancing security. After verification, it will redirect you to organization portal. In organization portal, there are list of various donors such as blood donors, educational fund donor, organ transplant operation fund donors, etc. This is our hospital list, which contains Google Map location of the hospitals which can be used for transplantation operation and surgeries. Now I am going to answer some questions that may arise in your minds. First, is this process secure? Yes, it is surely very secure process. Second, does assignment of donor to recipient is biased? No, not at all. The donor is assigned to recipient on the basis of criteria which are the requirements of the recipient. Third, on what basis donor and recipient validation takes place? Validation is done on the basis of the reports data provided by the corresponding hospitals. Finally, we conclude we have successfully overcome our problems.